To begin this Roy Lichtenstein landscape printing project, we're going to be getting a lot of papers from the store, and you're going to be working your way around to different stations in the room. So in this video, you're going to see what you will be doing on these 5 papers. I'm going to begin with the blue paper. My name is on the back. I know it's hard to see, but I did write my name on the back of all these papers. And I am going to be printing with white on a long piece of bubble wrap. So what that means is at the printing station, you're going to need to get the brayer in a white paint. And as you notice, I'm not wanting gobs of it. I'm just trying to get a little bit of white paint all over. And I am going to roll this paint onto the bubble wrap, hoping you can see this in my video. I'm not worried about getting it all the way to the edge because this bubble wrap is bigger than my paper. Do you notice how I don't have a ton? I don't want paint going into all those spots in between the bubble wraps. So my name is on this side. Slide this over. I'm going to lay my paper on that paint, and I'm trying not to move it or shift it, but I'm going to gently rub. I am not popping these bubbles, just gently rubbing around that blue paper. I'm going to pull it up, and I got a really awesome bubble wrap print. So that would go in the drying rack, and somebody else can use this bubble wrap next. The second paper I'm going to print is going to be a long, skinny white piece. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to be printing with blue paint. So I get my brayer in that paint. This one's not rolling the greatest. It's kind of stuck. See if it'll roll on here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to switch brayers. Make sure this one rolls nicely. I am getting that blue paint on all those bubble wraps, trying not to get too much. So these first 3 prints, we're doing pretty much the same thing, just with different colors. So now my name is up. Put that paper on. I'm trying not to move it or shift it, or it'll smear. Rubbing this really nice. Then, awesome, this paper is also going to go in the drying rack. And at my 3rd station, I told you this would be a lot of light. This is going to be for our cloud. So I have my paper with my name. Mrs. Cleary's got a big mess here. That's why we're going to be going station to station to help you out. So at this station, this is what we will be using for the cloud. So it has some different colors on it. You can mix them. They don't have to be totally mixed. When they go onto your bubble wrap, you might see the different colors. Again, you don't want a ton of paint. Awesome. My name is going on top of that. I'm rubbing carefully. And I'm going to pull up. Perfect. That's exactly how I want that to look. Alright, so that's the first 3 stations, all using bubble wrap. At the 4th station, this one's going to look a little different. You're going to have a new material called a jelly plate. So this jelly plate is going to allow us to print a couple of different times. I'm trying to clean a brayer for this demonstration. So I'm going to get this brayer in the yellow. Just trying to make sure I'm getting it all over. So I kind of have to pick that brayer up to get it to roll. On this jelly plate, I'm going to roll a nice thin layer of paint. It is a little bit blue, this one is. They might be colored, it's just that they're stained. On here, if I would put my paper on, I'd get a solid yellow block. But I want to make a texture in it. So I'm going to take this texture comb and I'm going to scrape a little bit. And as I'm scraping, I'm trying to get little squares. So I'm actually peeling some of this paint off. So I'm going to do that all the way down. And when I print this, it's actually going to look like those circles but it'll be squares. So on this paper, I would try to get 2 or 3 prints. So I'm going to slide this over so that this comes all the way to the edge. I'm going to put my paper on here and I'm lightly pushing. I can kind of see that coming through the paper, that shape. When I pull off, awesome, I get a really nice yellow print. I'm actually going to try to put another one on here. I still have some paint. See what happens. So I'm trying to look, I'm going to try to make them overlap so I can see the line where this paper is kind of wet. I'm going to put my next print on here. This time I'm pushing a little bit harder because I probably don't have a ton of paint left. Awesome. I'm going to try to get a third print. This time I'm going to roll a little more paint on there. I'm going to take that tool again and I'm just lightly scraping and stopping, leaving a little space. This is pretty cool. All the way down that jelly plate. And then I'm going to overlap this third print right here. It's going to give us a nice piece of yellow printed paper to create our collage in. Awesome. I am done, and the next person will be able to use that plate. At your last station, and everybody's going to end at their table spot for this last station, you're going to be using a Q-tip. So I have my name on the back of this. Slide that yellow. This last station is going to be red. Flip it over so my name's on the back. And gently with this Q-tip, we're going to fill this piece of paper with tiny red dots. So I am doing this very gently. If you slam this Q-tip down, your Q-tip's going to get really big and spread out, and it's not going to last very long. So these dots can be pretty close together. You want to try not to have them touch. Take your time and try to get them to have nice circles. Don't just do tiny dots, and if you go hard, it's going to be blobby. So I'm going to fill this up. If your Q-tip gets icky, you can turn it over and use the other side. So after every station, these papers are going to go in the drying rack.